Yeah. Heisenberg dancing around, for those of you that have seen Breaking Bad. Aaron Hillier here, and guys, I've got a tip. It's kind of weird, actually. It's going to blow your mind today. It really will if you apply it. And it's one little weird thing you can do to actually perform extremely well or just deliver incredible results in any situation you want. So it really stems from a book called Psycho-Cybernetics that I've read, and I'm about to reread it actually, and I've listened to the audio courses. It's by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and it's an incredible book, so I strongly encourage you to pick it up and read it. There's a lot of exercises and techniques and things that you should and can do in there, but this one in particular that I'm going to talk about today is on the concept of mental rehearsal. So I actually learned about it from the book, but after starting to apply it, I realized I kind of sucked at it at first. And then as I started to learn really how to make it work for me, I realized that I had actually been applying it for years and actually was quite good at it then, just in a slightly different context. So the gist is that you actually, in your mind, you shut your eyes and kind of go into a dream state, almost subconscious level, where you actually see yourself doing something over and over again. And this is proven to work in sales situations, actually rehearsing the interaction. It's been proven to work extremely well in sports, and in fact, that's what I want to talk a little bit about, how I learned it or how I actually was applying it and didn't even know I was applying it. It can help with relaxation. It can help, you get a job. You can actually apply this in so many different contexts. And I'm going to show you exactly how you do it. But do pick up the book. Before I go there, though, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how it worked for me. See, I was a diver. I'm a bit of a fish. I like to swim and dive, diving off the diving board. Although I do like scuba diving as well. Like I said, I'm a fish. But I was actually quite talented as a diver. And competed at the state level in high school and was like so close to compete at the national level or nationals at the college level until I got injured literally the next day. That was my sophomore year. So I'm sure I would have qualified. In fact, I may have been the first person to qualify that year. It was only the second meet of the year. But that's all aside from us. The point is I was actually quite good at diving. And when I first started out, and anytime I pushed the bar, right, as you get better, you start doing more and more advanced, more difficult dives. It's like, okay, now I can do a front 2.5 tuck, and this is way back, maybe in high school time, right? Off the low board. Well, that's great. I can now do it and get 5s or 6s and actually land vertically. Maybe I make a big splash, maybe it's not the cleanest in the world, but I have a couple choices there. I could either clean it up, which is, there's always merit in that, but there's more points often in the degree of difficulty. So then I might actually take that and try to do it in pike position, which for those of you that I'll back up and give you a little mini demo, and it's been years, so probably not a very good pike, but it's like that, where you're kind of in that position. I'm not flexible at all now, like I used to be. That's for damn sure. But you up the bar, and what happens as a result is when you first learn these, even once you get pretty good, you stretch the limit. It can be painful. I mean, it really can be painful. As you hit the water and you smack, you hit your stomach, you hit your feet, you hit your head, you hit your face. I actually put a hole in my eardrum one dive, doing a back 1.5 with 1.5 twists off the low board, and I had the momentum of gravity, somersault rotation, and the twist, and literally land on the side of my head. Not too fun. I've actually hit the board multiple times. So it can be very difficult to continue on, and that's actually somebody's in that type of sport. A lot of them are like that. Hell, realistically, I mean, any contact sport for that matter, there's a lot of danger there. But that being said, I realized as I started getting good at this mental rehearsal technique that I had been applying it for years and years. in the diving context, where I would actually sit there before a dive, especially during competitions, right? Because you go up there to do a dive, and there are so many things that can go wrong. For those of you that don't know, I mean, if I imagine a lot of you like to watch the Olympics, diving event, even if you don't really follow it or whatever. I mean, it's fun to watch. I know a lot of people that like to watch it, even though they're not big diving fans. It's cool to watch, right? What you may not realize is how much can go wrong, and so quickly and so easily. Every little bit. I mean, it's same. I imagine. I never did it, but I imagine the same is true in gymnastics. In fact, on that note, I just posted an awesome video yesterday on the Gabby Douglas story and how she overcame ridiculous amounts of adversity to become the Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics. But one little thing, can make a huge difference. And there's so much going on so quick, right? So just to give you an idea from this context, like if I'm let's say the dive that I pop my eardrum on. A back 1.5 with 1.5 twist. Everything I'm going to talk about, and I'm dummying it down here because it gets a lot more specific and a lot more to think about. But this all happens in the course of a second, 2 seconds tops, right? So first of all, you've got to gain balance on the board. You've got to actually be situated. And when you watch these Olympic divers, they make it look easy. Staying on the end of the board, especially with the handstands. But that's actually a skill set that takes time because you've got a moving object and you've got to balance and position yourself so that not only you have the balance, but you can actually get strength off the board, right? So you're balancing and so forth, and then all this again, everything I say, this is all during the course of like 2 seconds. I mean, a second and a half, a second. I've never actually measured it. I don't know, to be honest, but it's fast, right? So all during this time, and I don't have much space here, so I'll turn a little bit here, but hell, I'll get goofy and do a little demo here, right? So during this time, we're actually, gonna be lifting up, pressing off the board, and during, this is happening real fast, and I'm here, and I actually have to drop my arm down and twist around here, and when you do this real time, this is just like this, right? So it's real snappy fast, but this is all going on, and I have to actually look, and as I leave the board, and I have to see, you're spotting the water and the board and everything, and the world's just spinning around real fast, just like crazy, right? And at the right time, you have to come out here, and while this is all going on, you have to maintain a straight line, you have to point your toes, you have to, tighten your stomach, all these things are thinking about, you're feeling it, you're looking for it, you're waiting for it, and then you have to pop out, at the right time, and then you have to close your arms, and then you have to, finish all the way through, point your toes, tighten your body, swim through the water. Actually, you may not realize it, but once you hit the water, the dive actually isn't done for the diver, right? So all this stuff goes on in a split second. And I'm not saying diving is the only sport where things happen like that, right? It's the one I just happen to know really well. So what I did is I would actually sit there during the meet, and as soon as I finished up a dive, once I got to a certain level where I just didn't need to watch the other divers anymore, I knew how well I did and what I needed to do, and I was there for business. I was a good diver. I competed at a pretty high level. And as soon as I finished one dive, I would sit there and I would go into the corner and I would relax, first of all. Knowing what I know today, I would have done better than listening to music, to actually listen to something that actually stimulates me, focuses my mind. Maybe it's actually meditating or listen to motivational stuff or whatever. That would have done me a lot more good than the music I'd listen to. But I do that and I kind of calm my body a little bit. Actually, there's a great technique in the same book, Psycho-Cybernetics, when you pick that up, where an exercise where he talks about calm body, calm mind. We'll talk about that later. But after I listened to music, I would actually sit there in the corner by myself and get secluded, right? And I would actually close my eyes, and I would step by step. I mean, and I'm telling you, that's the beauty of the mental rehearsal, guys. This is why it's so powerful, is you can hit the pause button. You can rewind. You can fast forward. You can go slow. You can go super duper slow. You can go frame by frame. You can go a millionth of a frame by frame, right? So in my mind, I'm actually going through each and every step. Everything I need to think about. Everything my coaches have told me over the years. Everything I've seen from viewing the video. Everything I've practiced. All the pain I've felt. All the struggles I've gone through. I can actually go through that little by little, step by step inside my mind and actually rehearse that. And guys, this technique can apply in the same way to anything you want to do. Anything you're preparing for, you can actually go out there and mentally rehearse it, right? So if you've got I was trying to think outside of business, family coming over, right? And you're preparing a big dinner, a big meal, right? And you could actually go through in your mind and rehearse the conversation. Now, not everything's going to be to a T, so don't take that to that level, right? But it can definitely help you prepare. In fact, there's a version of the book that is commentary by Dan Kenendy, who is one of the best speakers in the world and most well-known, highest paid, consultants. And he talks about his experience of meeting someone very prominent. And I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Lee Iacocca, if I'm not mistaken. And someone that just kind of commanded, absolute. I don't want to say respect, but they were just up on a plateau that you really needed to be on your A game if you wanted to impress them. And Dan Kenendy talked about how he had rehearsed it over and over again. And when he went in there, it was deja vu. In fact, it was so much so that he found himself actually replaying what he already knew over and over again in his mind, and so down to some of the exact words and phrases that were used. In fact, he said, I believe it was like 50% of it or something like that was like almost verbatim from his mind. And as a result, he spoke a lot less. He had better posture. He commanded the attention of Iacocca, and as a result, Lee Iacocca started asking him direct questions and kind of butting out the other two people that were in the room. And then Dan Kenendy also talked about going back to horse racing but with the rider on the back, the sulky. And you need to go through all these certifications and all this stuff. And it's a big long story that you should definitely check out. We talk about when he actually gets out there and does the race, it's going to be something that he's repeated over and over again in his mind. There are stories of people applying this technique of someone like I'm trying to think of who the politician was. There's a famous politician who was a POW prisoner, and he actually had it was at the tip of my tongue. It was coming to me, but that's irrelevant. The point is, he was a POW prisoner for years and years, and found that his his golf game when he returned was completely intact because he had been practicing it in his head during all that time. So amazing things can happen out of this. Another example of a study they did, an actual study where they had proper tests in place with a boy, I'm blanking on words here. The baseline. I'm blanking on the term in a trial, but they actually had people shoot free throws, basketball free throws, and in some one group, control group. That's the dang word I'm looking for, control group, right? And they actually shot the free throws. And then there was a group of people who, in their head, actually practiced the free throws. And the amount of improvement between those that actually practiced over the course of a month, I think it was, every day or something like that, versus those that practiced in their head, it was so close. Yes, there was a slight edge by those that actually practiced, but I mean it was like a 93% improvement versus like a 91% or 89% improvement. I mean, it was so close. It was insane that all they did was they just sat there and in their head practiced this. They rehearsed it. Now, this doesn't have to apply to sports or sales. I gave you a family example. You know, this can apply to anything you really want to get incredible results out of. So, you know, if you want to raise the bar, first and foremost, go out there and buy that Psycho-Cybernetics book, right? And secondly, follow this technique as well as everything else in there. And guys, you know, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to continue providing, you know, value to your life. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Put some comments in the box below and let me know what you think, if this helped you or not, how you're applying it, more importantly, right? I want to know, I really do want to know how this is helping you, right? So go ahead and share the video, and I will see you soon.